next part of the agenda.
The managers report.
Fine. And so,
One of the big things on our table right now is what we're looking at to refurbish the deck between the Ocean Sound, the HOA common areas, and Tide Mart. So basically, this is a site plan, and what we did is, because the scope and the pricing that we started to get came in, or we suspect came in at over what is normally required, we wanted to make sure we got bids for it. But basically, just to give you an idea, what we're looking at are these areas here. This is the Ocean Sound condominium. This is the east side deck. These are the townhouses for Ocean Sound. And what we're looking to do is redo this entire deck, the walkway all the way across, up to the property line right here for Ocean Sound. There are 13 planters that are in place, and there are 28 drains within that area. So as part of our due process, we met with 6 different contractors. We walked it, we developed the scope, and we have to make sealed bids, and we'd like to see if the board would open them today. What we'll do then is we'll level all of these off. Yes, sir.
This is a property that we're looking at?
Are you asking my opinion?
Yeah.
No, not the section, at least not this section here. This area here, we're just past the Ocean Sound main lobby is in question, and that's one of the things that's gonna lead into the next conversation.
Why-
That's,
So why
Let me say something here.
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead.
We're working on right now, all the relationship between HOA and the buildings is informal. In other words, there's nothing that's really, there's not a document anywhere that says this is the responsibility of HOA and it ends here and that's where the buildings take over. This historically has been an HOA responsibility, and that's the way we're treating it right now. However, we're working on putting together a plan of the property, and then working between the building managers and Eric, and coming up with maybe color-coded or something, but something that will go into the minutes of the HOA in each of the buildings, and will formalize a little more where the responsibility starts and stops between the buildings and HOA. Believe it or not, all these years, it's just been mostly, hey, you take care of this, and I'll take care of that, so.
Yeah, let me get some clarification. This is important. We need to do a survey, and it's what we had, what you showed us, Eric, the other day when we met with legal counsel was a topographical for another purpose. We need to do a survey that shows the borders between the various associations.
That doesn't exist?
Well, at some point it has to have existed.
Of course.
During Andrew, we lost a lot of documents. They weren't properly stored and they were just lost. So at this point, we don't seem to have, we've confirmed this, any documents that confirm the actual lines. We have some ideas. Tom has looked at it, Eric has looked at it, but I think Rosa recommended that we do a survey, which is shouldn't be all that expensive, right?
I don't think it would be. It's a boundary survey, and they've already got a topographical survey.
But what kind of survey could you possibly do that would tell you that that area right there does not belong to Ocean Sound?
Boundary survey.
No, those townhouses, Casa de Flick, are Ocean Sound. Those 3 townhouses below it are Ocean Sound. The parking lot underneath is Ocean Sound. So what survey is possibly going to show us that that patio area is not Ocean Sound?
It's been historically done by the HOA, that's why.
Okay, but
That's
so
all.
And once you do that, Matt, you can't use the gate if you're not Ocean Sound.
there is no gate.
There's a gate right down the steps.
No, there's not.
Yes, there
There
is.
is.
Not in that area, there's not.
Yes, there is. Right below it, right below
Yeah,
it.
right, yeah. But,
Yes, there is.
But, yeah.
Yes,
but-
there is.
But we're talking, the gate's not the point. The gate is who's gonna pay to maintain those planters
Yeah.
and that, on all that deck space.
Yeah, the bottom line is the following.
Because I mean, we have area in Botanica gardens that people walk through and we pay for it. And everybody's gotta
But
take it.
historically, it's
That's the
been HOA.
Well, historically, it's been wrong, it sounds like.
It may be, it may be.
By the way, the
Oh,
point.
no, that might be, I don't disagree with that at all, man.
We all agree, we all agree.
Fair enough,
Yeah,
so we're all on the same page.
Right, we're all on the same page,
Okay.
we need to do the survey, we need to establish what those are. And to do this exercise, we need to do this repair, and at some point, if it turns out that this is not HOA property, then we'll work out an arrangement.
And I think Ocean Sound would be willing to accept it back if it was given back in first-class condition. Right now, it's, the last job on it was pretty ratty. I mean, that section up there by Rudy's house really needs to be worked on, I mean, really quickly.
That's another.
Well, but it sounds like if you guys have been getting 10 HOAs for
Excuse me,
2 years,
Matt,
good for you, but.
Matt, may we give a chance to other people, there are 2 people that also want to speak, Joe and Lucy.
First of all, excuse me, first of all, there's 2 areas, as I walk this property, I mean, in Ocean Sound, immediately the front entrance has to be addressed, and that's some part of that entrance is HOA property. I mean, it is dug out, it is, I can't believe, I mean, if I lived in Ocean Sound, I had guests come, I don't know if I would even invite people. The whole front entrance has been torn up for over a year now. And that area is HOA property. It needs that, there's a section in the front that is HOA property, and then there's a section with Ocean Sound. All right, so Ocean Sound needs to do their part, but the real bad part is the HOA area. Okay,
That's your proposal, Tom, to do the HOA area?
Yeah, that's what they're doing, that's what they're
That
doing.
needs
Right,
to-
Eric?
that needs to be done, number one. Number two, part of the long-term projects, which I'm gonna get into briefly tonight, is one of the projects we're taking on is the whole ocean pool deck, which goes from Tide Mark, all around the ocean pool, all the way through the Ocean Sound, townhomes and everything. Now, if the board decides that this is gonna be a project for January next year, then that's fine, but, I mean, to do one section of it right now, I mean, we can save a lot of money if we do the whole thing all at once. And I'm not talking about 2 years from now, I'm just saying that.
Is that area in really bad shape right now?
It's
Joe?
in bad shape.
I haven't walked the
It's
place.
in horrible shape.
It's in horrible shape.
Are the planters leaking or anything?
Well, the planters are not structural, they actually sit on the deck, which is our proposal is those planters be removed and not reinstalled.
Let me tell you, we did it at Tide Mark, what a difference.
You took the planters out?
We took them all out when we renovated.
And what'd you put in their place?
Susie, nothing. We
Just
just,
left it as deck, just
we
flush?
just,
So
and,
they're just sitting on top of the slab?
Yes.
yeah, and, we refurbished it, and our maintenance has come down tremendously. Those planters can cause a lot of damage.
Well, I think we need to decide first off, whose decision this is. Is this an Ocean Sound decision or an HOA decision? Or some kind of a joint decision?
Which is what leads to the question, if we're removing them, then we may be infringing on Ocean Sound's property, so is it our property or Ocean?
Yeah, and Ocean Sound owners may like the planters.
Or owners,
Or we could call it
this is one of
the
the.
flick roller ring.
This is,
That's the whole point of having the survey.
That's what my point
No, but that's a good
was.
point,
Let's
it is
just do the
Ocean
boundary
Sound,
survey.
we can't make a decision here without the board, Ocean Sound.
Can I, excuse me,
Yes.
Mr. President, I would like to refer to move on, we do just need a boundary survey. Lots of these documents, we'll be here all night arguing this, so we're gonna be.
How much is
To
that?
Tom's point, let's get this survey done.
Excuse
so
me.
that we know the delineations
Excuse me.
between HOA and.
Excuse me, I've had my.
Any further comments on that? Okay, Maria, you have.
I just want to speak, I know you're talking about the boundary survey, Maria Bueno, Botanical 145. To the point which a few of you made, I hear everyone talking about bettering the view of Ocean Sound, bettering the view of Tide Mark, bettering the view of this. I live in Botanica, and the entire perimeter up in the front, the board has talked about it, what is around our pool, the views from there. There's still Hurricane Irma damage, there's still a fence that has fallen down. That area is still being used as a trash dump area. So if you all are talking about bettering everything that is about the other buildings, I think you need to take into account Botanica, because it has been ignored, and I don't hear anyone talking about fixing what has been a year and a half.
has some issues as well, yes. We need to look at all.
Right now, aren't we talking about doing these sections of concrete that need attention so badly?
Now, that area, Eric, you say that there's a section that we don't know what it is. That's gonna be done, or is it?
Well, no, what we discussed is to do, again, everything, this entire area, the entire walkway in front of Ocean Sound, all the way to the fence,
Right.
which leads into their.
So,
And I would also suggest,
so this is considered, in your opinion, HOA to the fence?
No, sir.
So what is your opinion?
So if you look,
Who's gonna take it?
now as far as documentation, these are the official documents from Ocean Sound. And this section right here, which you probably can't read, is actually clearly states it's a condominium boundary, which is why I'm basing my personal opinion that this section belongs to Ocean Sound and not HOA. Where you come down here, they could be argued that it comes out and across, and that's why we talked to council and maybe moving forward, because this doesn't just apply to Ocean Sound. There are areas in Tide Mark where a structural beam runs underneath the garage, and part of it, it supports the HOA pool deck. So who's responsible for that beam? Is it HOA or Tide Mark?
It depends what damaged the beam.
Oh, I don't know.
If what's above it, I would think if what's above it is the pool and it leaked through and it damaged the beam, I shouldn't be responsible for it.
Well, that's a discussion we can
It
have.
was just an example.
Yeah, so from a legal point of view, in terms of who's responsible for doing this, I think is very important that we establish, where the responsibility.
and I think that's what the goal is, Tony, but right now, all we have is what historically has been done. And Eric, you know as well as I do that the renderings that the drawings that you're looking at go all the way back to where there were only 2 buildings on the property. And they came right down the middle. So, I mean, to be pointing to a drawing like this and say that it has any effect, it goes back before there was any Emerald Bay or any Botanica. So we just have to use the historical records and say, historically, HOA has been taking care of that, and they should do it now. And then we could discuss possibly turning it over to Ocean Sound. They're not gonna take it in that horrible condition you're leaving it in, okay?
And based on that reasoning is why we continued with our due diligence
Thank you.
and why you have this.
Well, why are we arguing about this? Why don't we open it?
I'm not arguing about it.
No, all right, so, to ask legal counsel, can HOA go ahead and approve this, subject to that a future survey would indicate that that was not HOA property, it was a responsibility of Ocean Sound, and that they would reimburse HOA? Would that be the proper way to do it?
Well, I don't think that you can assume that Ocean Sound is gonna reimburse you without Ocean Sound being advised of this ahead of time and agreeing to it. I'm not comfortable with having the HOA or any other association maintain an area that doesn't belong to it. The problem is that here right now, we don't know. And if historically HOA has been doing it, and we don't know any different at this point, it seems to me that HOA is gonna have to do it this one time, whether or not it's reimbursed by Ocean Sound.
Why is that?
Because HOA has been historically doing it if it is in a condition such that can't wait. Now, if it is in I don't know if there's falling concrete, I don't know if there's potholes, I don't know if there's a dangerous situation that we have to get on it right away. If this can wait for the HOA to have a professional surveyor look at this, I know you're calling, and have you gotten bids? What ballpark are we talking about in terms of money?
Well, actually, the ones who provided the top will do it for, they're saying, they'll review the documents, but for somewhere around $1,000 right now, but they need to confirm, we need to get them all the documents. I don't have the ones from the companies, but we would provide them the same survey and get the bids.
All right,
Another repair.
so
I think it's talking
we're-
about the repair.
I think we need to resolve the ownership.
Very
I think we need to resolve the ownership of this space before we open bids or do anything that covers us.
I agree, as long as there's not a current dangerous condition that someone can get hurt in, I don't think I'm hearing that from anyone. If you're getting survey bids for $1,000, you're roughly looking at a small amount, and now I don't know what the turnaround time is.
Right.
If we can get this done in a month, I think it's worth waiting.
Yes, Don has a.
And I've heard that repair this area could be about $100,000.
Excuse me.
So it's not a trivial project.
Joe and there is an area where there's holes, and you're talking about a main entrance of Ocean Sound, which is HOA property in that document. That needs to be fixed. That, you know, that area in itself the board needs to address that tonight. We need to have it fixed.
Excuse me,
Can you
ma'am.
please point to what you're talking about so I can understand?
You and I went over this.
No,
already, Matt.
can somebody stand up and
The
physically
section-
point it right there on the
The
screen?
section in front of the
So
Ocean Sound.
the area
entrance.
Mr. Wood is referring to is right here.
That's how it was, I mean,
Okay.
that which is.
When you come out of their building and you're
So
going
it's got nothing to do
to,
with the area that we're possibly.
not in this area,
Right.
I'm talking about, that's the main entrance. It's specifically, this part of it too is, according to that, is Ocean Sound property, okay? But that section is not so bad. The real bad section is the one on that map that's designated HOA. And, you know, we have a responsibility in HOA. I mean, the people in Ocean Sound, they pay their maintenance fee.
Yeah.
And that entrance needs to be maintained.
Do we have
And it
bids
affects
for?
all the property
Do
value.
you have bids for that area?
Excuse me, Matt, let's give some people a chance. Adan had a comment?
Yes.
Adan is the manager.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank you, Mr. Camejo, and the board for the time that you had dedicated to Mr. Kovacic. I appreciate that. He was my boss for many years, and we're still feeling that loss, and I appreciate that. Okay. May I go to the plants and
Yes.
address my?
Yes.
Please do.
Under these assumptions, minor assumptions, the survey might be able to tell us that this is an area of Ocean Sound and so on. But we have to keep in mind the following. The area that is behind the townhomes, which is about 50, 60 feet of grass, is an area that HOA for 40 years is being maintained as well. We have to be careful with those assumptions, because if we now decide that this is Ocean Sound and the gardens are Ocean Sound, we're gonna have to revisit the whole structure of how we are being operated. That will affect Taiwan. They're gonna have to take their gardens. We might eventually decide to enclose. You know, it's a number of things
You
that.
need ACC approval for that, from the whole association.
I'm sorry?
You can't be putting up fences without approval.
No, I'm saying.
Matt.
No, you can't.
Nope.
Not without ACC approval.
No, I'm sorry, maybe I used the wrong, but we just have to be careful with what we do, because looking from the budget aspect, if we, the Ocean Sound, is gonna take over the gardens, we can have to buy equipment.
There's no proposal to take over the
We're
government.
not proposing that.
No, you are not, but the premise that is being used is that this is an area that is, it belongs to Ocean Sound, so we're gonna apply the same concept for all, which is, you know, taking this area and isolating the area for the purpose of giving us to maintain. So we have to look at the full picture. Now, if we have to take the whole area based on the survey, I'm gonna have to hire an employee that is gonna cost me $40,000, $50,000. Taiwan might have to hire theirs, and the same will apply for the whole community. So we are looking into increasing our operation for only $200,000 for something that is being done by HOA based on, you know, previous arrangements. That's all what I wanted to bring your attention. I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, that's
Please.
Yeah, let me, along those lines, if I may, Tom, you speak.
I think that, like, here's what I think you don't understand, ma'am, is that once you do the survey, all you're gonna be doing is putting firm lines in there. After that, there's going to have to be a mutual agreement as who's responsible for what. In other words, that survey isn't gonna show you what's Ocean Sound or what belongs to HOA, because there's never been I'm certain there was a formal agreement at one time, but we can't find any record of a formal agreement. So what's going on right now is just, well, you take care of this and we take care of that, that's the way it's always been. So when you do this survey that you think is so important, and I don't think really has any importance at all, frankly, then we will at least know a firm line coming down there. We can say, okay, on this side is this and this side's that, and maybe we can color them in or do something.